Well, the one thing that San Jose State couldn't afford to happen just happened. They go down, lose to Air Force 26-16 at home. Uh, a game that started off just bad in the first half. 4 turnovers. Air Force was able to capitalize on 3 of those turnovers. Uh, you know, fumble, back-to-back interceptions, and then you end the half with a safety. They go down 16-3 in the second half. They try emerging with a comeback, but it was too little, too late, and they also could not stop the rushing attack from Air Force. This was that game that I was concerned would be a trap game for the Spartans going into this week. A team that has to win a game like this, uh, they lose it. They get down early and 2 picks from Walker Egan, and now you have to start saying that San Jose State season is over. There was a slim chance, going into this game, but now that's pretty much done. Despite what we've seen from San Jose State, able to get some solid wins against New Mexico and Hawaii, the fact that they dropped this to Air Force at home uh, when they need to win the last 3 of the 4 games to get to a bowl game, their backs against the wall. It just was not working out for them. This was a game truly that the offense just sort of gave it up. Did not help their defense at all. When you go down, back to back to back turnovers, 2 of those resulting in touchdowns for Air Force. It's hard to come back from that. It's hard to you know stop the bleeding. Liam Zarka played another phenomenal game. 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground. Owen Allen and Dylan Carson got the tough yards to extend the drives. Falcons defense came up big in this one. They just allowed themselves to take advantage of all of Walker Egan and San Jose State's mistakes and gave their offense great field position and much more manageable field to work with. How it's funny in the bigger scheme of things, they're both now 3-6 on the season. Air Force 2-4 in conference play. Meanwhile, San Jose State 2-3 in conference play. They're both right now on the outside looking in. They would both each have to win 3 games. It's probably not going to happen. Now you could say this is a failed season for San Jose State, who had high hopes going into this year, despite 2 of those wins coming against teams that both have a chance to be in Mountain West title games. Walker, you get put up 334 yards passing, but still no touchdowns. He's still the league leader in passing yards on the season. Just crucial mistakes that they couldn't afford, and that was their downfall in this game. Now looking at San Jose State, it's still a possibility, but they got a couple tough games coming up. If they can get a win against Nevada, there's slim hope, but then you got to go and take on San Diego State and Fresno State, which are winnable games. San Diego State just losing to Hawaii, and a lackluster offense. As for Fresno State, they also have at least a lackluster passing game. So very winnable games for San Jose State. It's still possible to salvage the season, get to 6-6, but they can't afford any mistakes from here on out. They're gonna have to win out the rest of the season. It's gonna be interesting to see how they regroup from this. Air Force still down bad on the season, but they get a upset victory. Just a strong way to finish out the season for them. Air Force wins this one 26-16 over San Jose State. Well, it was the game that Utah State needed to rebound from. They handled this one from start to finish. They were up 24-0 at the end of the first quarter. Into halftime, up 41-0. So complete domination. 5-4 in the season they moved to. Bryson Barnes looked his best he has in a few weeks. Bronco Mendenhall had them rolling on all cylinders. They're now 3-2 in conference play. As for Nevada, 0-5 in conference play, 1-8 on the season. This was expected. They had all 3 quarterbacks get in the game. Chubba Purdy had a couple touchdowns through the air, but just bad football and no way to repair this team. It just has to be rebuilt from the bottom up. And now Utah State, uh, they're still there along with 6 or 7 other teams in the Mountain West, with only 2 losses on the season, 3 wins on the season. Uh, they are very much still in the running, uh, especially after some key losses this weekend. They're still there, and along with a handful of other teams, it's going to get interesting for the rest of the Mountain West for the next 2-3 weeks. Tim Barnes put up a solid day, 288 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. He also led in rushing with 40 yards rushing. Miles Davis had a pretty good day, 2 rushing scores off of 33 yards. Brady Boyd was the lead target, had 117 yards, 2 touchdowns. One of the most dominant wins we've seen for a team facing Nevada this season that boasts well they can score. Uh, they're still in the running. It's going to get interesting. Their best chance to pick up that 6th and crucial win probably comes against Fresno State in 2 weeks' time, but UNLV, from what we've seen of their defense lately, this high-scoring Aggies offense could give them trouble. You got UNLV, you got Fresno State, and you got Boise State to end the year, so they just need one win in the next 3 games, and they're there. And it's pretty good season for Bronco in his first year. Utah State handles this one 51-14 over Nevada. In the first quarter, UNLV fans are probably a little bit nervous. Second quarter, UNLV puts up 21 points. They go into the half 21-10 and shut out Colorado State in the second half. They end up winning this one 42-10. Another solid victory. Team that still only slipped up twice in this season. Really once being against New Mexico. They're still in the running along with 7 other teams in the Mountain West. Colorado State moves to 2-7 on the year, 1-4 in conference play. They're the only team that's absolutely out of the discussion along with Nevada. Anthony Clonder had a pretty good day. He started off with a crucial pick, but he finishes the day with 4 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 2 through the air. Jane Thomas put in 131 yards rushing, a touchdown. UNLV now 7-2 on the season. It's there for them, considering at least on paper their toughest game was going to be Boise State. They still have a tough matchup. They got some high explosive offenses they're going to have to face in the next couple of weeks. They got Utah State, they got Hawaii, and then they do get to finish out their season against rival Nevada. So easiest win to end the season, but it's getting there. They have to win those next 2 games if they want a chance to be in the Mountain West title game. The biggest benefit is that both those games will be at home. They have to be the defense stepping up. They're going to have to find ways to stop Alejado in that air raid attack. They're going to have to find ways to stop Bryson Barnes, dual threat quarterback. This is winding up to be one of the trickiest finales for the Mountain West season, and really the last Mountain West season as we know it. It's going to go down to the wire. We're going to see teams leapfrog each other, and we're not going to know who's getting that Mountain West title game till the very last week, the very last game of the day. It's a race to the finish. In a way, UNLV just has to win out. They're going to rely on certain teams to sort of devour themselves to help them get a spot in the Mountain West title game, but they just got to win out. Win out. You got a 10-win season, great year. UNLV handles this one with ease over Colorado State, 42-10. The game by far with the biggest implications going into that title race. San Diego State going on the road, take on Hawaii. I had concerns about San Diego State's offense all year long. Lackluster play from the quarterback position. Just really reliant on the defensive game. And sure enough, a team like Hawaii exposes the Aztecs and handles them with ease, including shutting them out in the second half. Hawaii wins this one 38-6 over San Diego State. Jaden Denigal, 131 yards passing. He throws 2 picks in this game. Lucky Sun's only able to put up 78 yards rushing. Was this solid offensive game from Michael Alejado, 256 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had a pick early on in the game. Relying on Cam Bartfield and Landon Sims to play physical, running down the field and extend drives. This game came down to simple lack of scoring from the Aztecs. Uh, I mean, when they got up 24-6 against them at halftime, you knew it was gonna be ugly. Sure enough, they tack on another 2 scores in the second half and shut out San Diego State offense. Now they end up basically even on the season. San Diego State 7-2 on the year, 4-1 in conference play. As for Hawaii, now 7-3 on the season, 4-2 in conference play. This was a game that some of the middle of the road teams in the Mountain West needed to get themselves back in the conversation. For Hawaii, it's looking pretty good. 2 games left on the season. Tough road game against UNLV, and you finish out the season with Wyoming. So very 2 winnable games there. UNLV has looked vulnerable all year long despite only 2 losses on the season. Wyoming, sort of the same story, lackluster offense like San Diego State that Hawaii can take advantage of. That without a doubt, if they win the next 2 games, they find themselves in the Mountain West title game. Huge season for Timmy Chang and this Rainbow Warriors team. Counted out in the beginning of the year for everyone else that was not me. I believed in them from the start, and they are showing out for sure. As for San Diego State, it gets kind of ugly. They start off the past couple of weeks as the league leader, and their last 3 games, they got to go up against Boise State. They're not going to win that game. They got San Jose State, who's needs to win out if they want to get to a bowl game, so they're extra motivated. And then you got New Mexico to finish out the season, who's playing the most underrated football in the country right now. After this performance, right now I see San Diego State probably finishing maybe 5th, 6th in the Mountain West. They may lose 2 of their last 3 games. They were at the top, and they're gonna be somewhere middle of the road. As for Hawaii, their destiny's in their own hands right now. 2 games to win. Tough matchup against UNLV, and definitely not to underestimate Wyoming to finish your season. But if you win those 2 games, you're in the Mountain West title game. You're most likely facing a Boise State team. Time will tell, but Hawaii sitting in a good position right now. Hawaii dominates San Diego State. 38-6 is your final score.